Obsession is a very simple movie in concept. A person with a very deep towards someone who doesn't think of them that way puts an effort to make that person like them back, but it doesn't happen. Sounds relatable to a lot of people on the surface, right? Right? The story follows Alex Myers, Bear, and how did that get in there? And his co-workers, Ian, the funny guy, Sarah, the girl you should like instead, and Nikki, who was the main love interest of Mr. Nice Guy over here, and sadly the main victim in all the shenanigans of the movie. At the start, we get an establishing shot of Bear pouring his heart out to Nikki until the camera pans out and we see that it is actually a waitress letting him practice his confession onto, alongside his friend Ian. Ian keeps teasing him about his crush on Nikki, and they discuss how Bear should ask her out. Just casual stuff so far, until Ian tells Bear that he should refer to her as Freaky Nick, and apparently Nikki really hates that because she used to get bullied with that name. Weird name aside, that's like pulling out the forbidden knowledge and telling someone their Xbox 360 gamer tag and flooding all the embarrassing memories they had associated with it.
I live in Smethwick, Birmingham. If you want the fucking brawl, come down Smethwick, ask for Danny G. I'll come out of my house.
Fast forward to Bear going back home, he finds that his cat has passed away earlier with white foam coming out from his mouth. He discovers that the cat had accidentally eaten some prescription medications earlier, and he instantly blames the cat for getting into the bottle and puts it in a trash bag. Bro, have some respect for the cat. And also, if the medications belong in the medicine cabinet, which has a mirror covering it, then maybe it is your fault that you misplaced the meds outside of it. Anyway, the title card of the movie happens, and we get a first look at the gang in the photo, stamped to the dresser mirror, with photos of him and Nikki also being on there. One thing I also noticed is that while he is crying, it seems that he is holding something out of view of the camera, which I'm assuming is his phone, and he asks, why can't she just? It is a missable detail and is probably him referring to why Nikki doesn't feel the same way about him. Later that night, he is stalking Nikki's Instagram, looking at already liked photos, etc. Perfectly normal nice guy behavior, by the way. And while that is happening, she actually calls him and asks about him. And bro gets giddy as like a buttercup, not even kidding. She asks him whether he is joining the gang tonight or not, and since his cat died, he's reluctant at first, but then she convinces him and tells him that she wants to see him and that, you know, she had something important to say, which gives bro hope that maybe she wanted to confess something. Anyway, while talking, Nikki drops her crystal necklace down the drain, and after this, we see him going into a gift shop asking about crystal necklaces so that he could bring her a replacement. But he decides against it because apparently Nikki would hate that. So then what does he do? He gets distracted by a bunch of voodoo related stuff. He takes the one called the One Wish Willow, which is advertised to grant you one wish. Any wish you see, just state the wish and break the stick inside into two halves. And this right here is the object that puts the entire movie in motion. He buys the One Wish Willow instead of a crystal necklace, which remember was the entire point of him stopping there. So bro thinks she would hate a crystal necklace replacement, but a piece of wood to break in half is a good idea. Shove that stick of wood up here. Anyway, cut to the time where the gang is together. Sarah and Nikki are babbling on about, I don't know, to be honest, while Ian and Bear keep having a mouthing argument. Bear wants Ian to distract Sarah so that Bear can talk to Nikki instead. Nikki picks up on this and calls it out, prompting a nervous reaction from both guys. She then gets up to get some alcohol for them, and Bear sees this as an opportunity for some one-on-one talk with her. At the bar, he denies taking alcohol and prompts for some pina colada juice instead. Nikki makes fun of him for that fact because he doesn't like alcohol. Sorry, Nikki, for not wanting to be potentially drunk while driving home. He tries to ask her out, but he can't get any words in because of everything comically interrupting him, including the bartender, which Nikki calls Babe. Just give it up, bro. So he actually gives up and prompts a toast for Sandy, and Sarah is the only one who actually cares to ask, why Sandy? And then she hugs him deeply after finding out that his cat actually passed away. The group are then done partying with Nikki insisting on going home, yet Ian and Sarah disagreeing, but like the nice guy he is, Bear offers to drive Nikki home. See, dumbass? Good thing he didn't drink after all, otherwise you'd both be dead in a ditch. During the car ride, she opens up to him a bit with the friend zone talk about how she doesn't feel love and wants to leave for a fresh start to focus on writing her romance book.
No, it's not a romance, it's a love story.
Tomato, thank you, arigato. He brings up the gift that he bought for her, and she gives a distressed and disgusted reaction. She's acting like he got her a dissected dentist frog or something. Honestly, at this point, I would kick her out of the car because every single interaction they had together has led to her to be disgusted or weirded out for literally no reason. Some talk about crushes happen, you know, that Sarah likes Bear, blah, 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 and then he messes up with his words by calling her Freaky Nikki, leading her to ask if he likes her. And instead of manning up and admitting it and just end this, he says no like a coward, and then she leaves. So bro sets the movie in motion by making the wish with the voodoo stick. I seriously do not get the dumbass logic of this guy. So he looks over to see Nikki ominously standing on the porch and staring at him. He hides the thing away and then she rushes over and starts acting very weird, saying that her cat passed away to try and emotionally manipulate him, and then corrects her mistake by saying, so she keeps asking him if he wants to come inside her house multiple times, and visually she seems confused at herself saying those words. She then snaps out of it but goes right back to that behavior even stronger by trying to drag him out of the car and laughing weirdly and just acting very weird. And you can visually see how she's fighting herself even if it looks lighthearted in her actions. She gets back into his car and tells him to take her back to his place, and bro looks back at the One Wish Willow dumbfounded like, is this really happening right now? She then starts even more like extremely emotionally manipulating bro. And in hindsight of viewing as the audience, this Wish Willow is pinpointed on its objective from the start, to be honest, making her hide her face, speaking in a depressive tone, lying by saying her dad has cancer, and crying really badly. So Bear takes her back to his place and she says some very contradicting things towards her previous behavior towards Bear. She sits in Bear's bed head down and we can see that she's ashamed of herself. She asks him to sleep beside her. She strips down and starts to physically come onto Bear, eventually kissing him. So bro obviously, like, you know, with how desperate he is for this girl, he instantly starts attacking her lips back. She abruptly snaps, thankfully, out of it and jumps off the bed before apologizing and crying. I'll be honest bro, if this happened to me, I would genuinely be concerned that she is very much not mentally okay and would either take her to a hospital to test for maybe a concussion or blood alcohol level, maybe even call someone just to like take her home or anything, like actually someone close to her that she trusts, not like this Bear guy. Be a normal human being bro, but what does this guy say? You made me think I did something wrong, son. And you know what else he does? He goes on Reddit. He's a Redditor of all things to see if the One Wish Willow actually worked or not. So 30 minutes in the movie and I genuinely want to see this guy in a body bag. Next day he finds that she made him breakfast, took the cat out of the trash, and made a weird shrine with its corpse as an in memory of thing. Does this guy even like care about anything in his life? At work, he spills the beans to Ian, who is befuddled, dumbfounded at what is being said, and says that she's probably on drugs and should go to a doctor. And we're gonna find out actually why Ian is so like confused and dismissive of this relationship. So that night, Nikki goes back to Bear's house in a nice dress and apologizes for what happened, saying that she was on substances. Obviously, Bear doesn't know that she's lying. Also, note about Bear, I do not know if this is an acting choice from Michael Johnston or not, but why does Bear always look like he's going to shit himself in every shot his face is in? She confesses to him about her love for him and he does the same. They sleep together and we see a montage of them being all couple, cuddly, with everyone around them being confused at this sudden change, with good reason that we're going to find out later. And then from here on out, everything starts slowly going insane. With this probably being the most popular scene from the movie, Ian calls Bear while Bear is having dinner with Nikki and tells him that Nikki lied about her dad having cancer, and after confronting her, she goes cuckoo tutu halakabutu, and back home he gets intimate with her and we see her visibly completely checked out from it. Terrible thing for Nikki. So yeah, after that disgusting scene that we just saw, bro wakes up after and he finds her just standing there in a corner while the lights are off. Like, look at her over there standing like she's you know. The next morning, she literally duct tapes the door shut so that he cannot go to work, but he goes anyway. And she literally stands there like a robot and starts pissing herself after he's gone. At work, bro finds out that she packed him sandwiches made out of his cat. Bro, oh my god, the poor cat is just getting dragged into everything. On the way home, he calls the customer hotline for the voodoo stick.
I'm over here stroking my dick. I got lotion on my dick right now. I'm just stroking my shit. I'm horny as fuck, man. I'm a freak, man. Like, for real.
He's told that the wish cannot be altered or cancelled and that the only way to stop is to return to the main menu. So bro then hears Nikki screaming in agony on the phone, and at this moment he should genuinely just instantly end it. The poor girl has suffered for no reason at all other than this dumbass terrible monster's obsession with her. He returns back home and finds her covered in pretty much any bodily fluid you can think of that would make you lose your cat sandwich lunch. He tells her to go to shower and that he wants to go to a boys' night on his own. She gets mad and tells him that Sarah's coming, and so she comes anyway. At the party, they start drinking and getting turns with the Jenga or Jenja, I don't know what it's called. And when it lands on her, she starts reading the average female book talk fantasy poem about incest. When it comes to Bear's turn, his Jenja block tells him to kiss Sarah on his left, so Nikki drags Sarah away by her chair, They have Bear kiss her instead, and then she shouts out some cuckoo stuff that straight up kills the party. She says to everyone that they will die without feeling the connection that she has with Bear. And randomly, real Nikki snaps out of it shouting, "It's not me," and hurts herself really bad. I really hate how no one took her seriously with this much freaking out, especially because she was incredibly distressed and she clearly jolted as fast away as she can from Bear. So Bear just sits there, and then the movie cuts away to him trying to drive her to the hospital, who I think refuses to treat her outside because, well, that's normally should be treated inside. So he takes her home and he doesn't bother to clean up her face or anything. He just starts pleading with her to take some space, and then she starts crying and begging him to not do that and stuff. And mind you, at this point, bro knows that this is not real Nikki, and that real Nikki is actually being tortured inside of her own body. But he tells this entity to act like Nikki, which then she shouts at him that she literally cannot be Nikki. And then he starts crying and says it's not real. No shit, bro. Literally go OD and free this poor woman already. She suddenly jumps back and starts backwards walking away, and this is very creepy, which then scares Bear before she starts sprinting at him and then stopping again. I think this is the real Nikki struggling to take control and actually attack Bear to end this torment of hers. But then the entity takes control again, comforting Bear and then leaving. But then it seems like real Nikki tries to grab a knife, and then fake Nikki comes back, and I think describes how the possession feels like Nikki in a very depressing visualization before casually moving on. Later in bed, Bear is laying awake and he didn't even bother to clean her wounds again. This guy's journey just come of the earth. Sarah texts him and tells him that they need to talk in the park. And as soon as I saw this, Sarah's just gone. He gets up and starts scurrying away, but the real Nikki starts sleep talking to him, saying that fake evil Nikki is asleep and to please end her life and free her from this torment. He literally cannot get a more direct confirmation that Nikki does not and never did want to be with him. And you know what he tells her? He tells her what would be so bad about being with him before leaving her to plead to no one. He meets Sarah and she tells him that Nikki has something seriously wrong with her, and he literally does not care. He just starts laughing it off. And then Sarah tells him that she got her final application letter for her dream college, Luther, and that they should open it together to see the result. Before that happens, she starts confessing that Ian and Nikki have been hooking up for over 2 years, and that maybe Nikki's doing that to get back to Ian. This is why Ian earlier was always like very weirded out by this relationship. Sarah then confesses her own feelings for Bear, and now the bell has tolled for Sarah. Nikki comes out of nowhere sprinting and smashing the car window like she's chasing the last batch of chicken nuggets at the dinner table before her siblings eat it. And then she smashes Sarah's face into a brick until Sarah's face literally looks like a ball of chili. Nikki tells Bear that this is his fault and this is what he wanted and wished for, and that he will now help her to get rid of the body. Bear is reluctant at first, but let's be honest, he has no choice. Alone, Bear reads the letter Sarah gave him earlier and sees that she got accepted into her dream college. And honestly, seeing this movie again for this video, I was gonna kinda tear up at this scene from how bad I was feeling for both women and literally everyone involved, except this piece of shit. Imagine how real Nikki was feeling seeing herself do this without her own control. Anyway, Bear rushes back to the gift shop and buys more wish sticks, arguing with the vendor there. But he cannot break it again since he already used a wish, so he goes to Ian's house, who doesn't take him seriously until he wishes for $1 billion. And yeah, there goes Ian's wish. Final stretch of the movie. He drives back to his house, then sees recordings of himself sleeping inside of the TV, a weird shrine of him and Nikki, Sarah's naked corpse on a wheelchair, and Nikki in the corner doing the gritty. Nikki then has a fight with herself at the entity repeatedly snapping in and out of the possession, harming herself, etc. before she shoots Ian in the head. I noticed that possessed Nikki also tried to copy Sarah's tattoos. Nikki puts the gun to her own head and then barfs on Bear, and she only calms down because he said that he loves her. He tells her that he will make this work and locks himself in the bathroom. He takes the gun and fumbles with how he wants to, before cowering out and taking the pills that his cat had OD'd on earlier instead. He gulps down a lot of the pills before cowering again and trying to barf them out. And before he is successful, we hear possessed Nikki use the One Wish Willow to make Bear love her as much as it does to him. So he goes out and they have a cutesy moment before he starts ODing, and then while that happens, fake Nikki is completely distressed at what's happening. She decides that she wants to join him and puts the gun in her mouth, but then finally real Nikki permanently has control of her body back, ending the nightmare. She tosses the monster's body aside before breaking down at the fate of her actual friends. Roll Credits. Honestly, I love this movie. It feels like a breath of fresh air to me, but I don't really watch a lot of movies anyway, so I don't really know. I really do like how they went about with the possession of Nikki and showing the moments of how she fights back sometimes in whatever way she can. And I also really like how they showed that such a destructive wording of what you wish for can completely ruin your life and everyone else's life. A word of advice from me: if you do like someone and they don't like you back and you've genuinely tried, just please move on and spare both of you the trouble. Really liking and loving someone, to me, is giving them the choice and autonomy in what they do with the time they spend with you. Within reason, of course. Like and sub for more videos. Peace and love. Dreamless out.